Convict killer headsmen from Yoruba land, Sunday Igboho vows. VC breaks varsity COVID-19 herb critics, calls them ignorant. Irepodo local government APC youth declares support for Abdul Razak. Anambra threatens to arrest Jesus for indecent conduct. Headers registration begins. NGF Maitiala back Akeredolu's order. Disco disconnect ex-president Shagari's home over 6 million debt. Afenifere PDP Middle Belt Forum kicks as FG insists insecurity worsen in 2015. Kogi rescues 28 kidnapped victim of a robbery. Prosecution not caught delaying trial. Judge. Castina, school resumes amidst heavy deployment of riot policemen. Gambari lead FG delegation to Sokoto over market fire. Curfew declared troops occupy Imo community over killing of 4 soldiers. Okay, so that's what we have this morning on the headlines, and we're going to be looking at a few of the topics that are work related, and we're going to be discussing this morning. Okay, first we are going to look at the let's look at our first story for today. We are going to look at don't wait for white collar jobs. NYSC DG tells corpers. The Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Shuaibu Ibrahim, has urged corps members not to wait for the white collar jobs. He gave the advice on Monday while addressing the 2020 Batch B corps members deployed to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The Director General, who spoke at the FCT orientation camp in Kuba, advised the corpers to develop skill and embrace the dignity of labor while striving towards self-employment. He said that instead of seeking scarcely available white-collar jobs, they should acquire skills that will make them wealth creators. Okay, so that's the news, comrade. Now, the NYC Director General has advised corps members to, not to look into white collar jobbers. They should go more for skill acquisition. And this is the question: do you think it's actually the right time to advise people, graduates who have gone through the schooling system, not to not to keep their hopes high on white collar jobs?
You see, listeners, it's very important that we realize that it's a commonplace for us to have people at the end of affair advising and encouraging youth, particularly in this part of the world, that you should look away from white-collar job. And the news also added that it's not that there is no white-collar job, but it's scarcely available.
Okay.
Then if it is scarcely available, how do we get people on board in this white-collar job? If the process is not transparent enough, definitely everybody will want to pay the price to get themselves on board. And on the other hand, it is also important for us to have what I will, in the meantime, describe as alternative to whatever certificates that we are having that can add value to the society, and by implication it will transform into economic prosperity for individuals who must have gone through such skills and training. And largely, I have also said, and I will continue to say repeatedly, that a lot of people go to school in Nigeria and unfortunately they don't have business going to school. They don't have business going to school, but because our system so much celebrate certification, so everybody want to go get the certificate. We have a lot of people out there that can help diversify Nigeria economy by reason of what they have over a period of time learned and engage themselves in, that could transform into transferring skills into some other youth. But because such people in that category will not even be allowed to work close to government establishment to even bid for contract that will support their businesses, simply because people in that category are difficult to even access loan from commercial and specialized financial institution to support their businesses. So everybody will now say, okay, if I cannot access loan that has been announced by the federal government available to support business the type in which I am doing, definitely let me also go back to school to learn. And at the end of the day, by the time such a person has completed a cycle, a academic program of about 4 years cycle, even the interest in the initial skill that prompted him to opt for certificate, that such interest might have faded away. And let us now take a clue from the category of the foreigners that we have to build some of our infrastructures in Nigeria. If you check through their profile, you discover that hardly will you even see somebody that have even gone to obtain post-secondary school certificate in some of those countries, particularly from Asia continent and specifically from China. We so much depend as a nation, we depend so much on some of the technological breakthroughs that they have recorded in that part of the country, to the extent that when you are bringing a mere or equivalent of a technician from China to come and help build facilities and infrastructures in Nigeria, you subject engineer, current certified engineer, to work under them, even right in our own country here. So that goes to explain that we but the skill to reflect whatever we might have claimed to have gone to school to obtain, we don't have such skill. And somebody somewhere who probably has never been to school will come down and give us the best that we will actually celebrate. Now, at that point in time, I want to say that with the number of years that National Youth Service program has been in existence, I expect that there should be inter-ministerial or inter-agency collaboration between between National Youth Service Corps to report what they have observed could help address unemployment in Nigeria, and also suggest further that our curriculum in Nigeria be reviewed to reflect, so that NYS will have little or nothing to do or say to the Nigerian youth who might have gone through their training as regards employment and white collar job.
But comrade, don't you think even at the level as things are now, don't you think there's something that the NYSC could do to salvage the situation from their own end? I mean, people, do their youth service for a whole year, 12 months. Do you think the program has been effective? How can it help to salvage this situation? There's no job, and people stay for 12 months serving the country. They pay them at least something. I don't know, don't you see them doing something that could be a little impactful even at their own level?
You see, it is disturbing and worrisome, and not really surprising to people like us that whatever you see NYSC doing in terms of skill acquisition is just by the way. It's not part of their mandate. NYSC as an institution, as an organization, is expected to only coordinate that 1 year program. That is why you see at the orientation camp, they will encourage you to participate in all this is the way they put it, participate in all regimented program of the camp. Regimented program, that is, all of these things have been so programmed that everyone that doesn't have any underlying ailment or some other constraint is expected to participate effectively. And it is more of jamboree at the orientation camp. You participate. If you cannot join the platoon match pass team, you join when your platoon go to the kitchen to cook, you join them, or you join the band boys, or you join the OBS, or you go to the medical, or you join the environmental, and all of those things. These are the basic things that anybody could even ordinarily be doing without going to NYSC orientation, and a lot of sensitization and all of those, and you join religious group as well. But by the time they started understanding how important it is for them to also bring in some other program, that is when you see United Nations programs. United Nations programs like Millennium Development Goals that after 2015 transformed into Sustainable Development Goal, and you see all of these programs like HIV campaign and all of these advocacy and campaign program crept into the NYSC program, and they use it as a platform to also drive humanitarian activity and humanitarian commitment and advocacy, through which NYSC core members could participate in the period of 1 year. But at the point we got it wrong, or that I would say that NYSC got it wrong, is because youth, most of them were not don't have the privilege to have hand-on practicals related or relating to their field of study, even in their various universities and NYSC producing institutions like Polytechnic and all of those things. And the unfortunate thing is that when they now get into the NYSC program, you will not post them to where they are relevant, that they can learn in the space of 1 year. For example, if I have obtained Bachelor of Science degree in mass communication, for example, or BA mass communication, and perhaps in the institution where I graduated from, we don't have a studio, and on getting to NYSC program, you now post me to school to go and be teaching. At the end of the day, you have successfully ridiculed whatever number of years that I have spent in the university or Polytechnic studying that course, and in that space of 1 year, I may lose interest totally in what I have used 4 years or thereabout to build. But if NYSC will not have such power to mobilize resources, to also build skills acquisition center for national youth core member, it is advisable that the idea of sending them to school to teach, the idea of sending them to National Assembly to serve as PA and handbag carrier to politicians, those ideas should be jettisoned. If I am a trained, if I have my Bachelor of Science degree in education, post me to a school to teach relevant subjects. If I have Bachelor of Science degree in petroleum engineering, send me to petrochemical industry, so that by the time I'm done with that 1 year, whatever stories all the lecturers used to tell us in the classroom, I must have see them practically, and it will build up on that, and my interest in that discipline would have been aroused.
You know, even in our academic curriculum, you see, I'm talking about now in the workforce, you see people at the bank, people that studied IRK, people that studied Yoruba, working at the bank. And meanwhile, people who studied banking and finance or accounting are somewhere else, maybe working as farmers, teaching or farming or something that is totally different from me. Don't you think maybe that's one of the things that people look at? Anyway, they post me, let me go job.
You see, so we have, at least you see, we have institutionalized skill acquisition, and we have self-driven skill acquisition. In institutionalized skill acquisition, that is where you see, I have a brother, a blood brother. He read agricultural science at the University of Ibadan. As I speak to you, he's a top banking officer in one of the commercial bank in Nigeria.
Wow.
And at what point, when he was after his graduation and NYSC program, he had to, you know, the banking job is open to everyone. They subject you to all these tests and all of those, and after you might have gotten your appointment letter, they send you for training. It's just a mere skill acquisition training, but it has been institutionalized. That is why when people talk about a skill acquisition, they will not look that side. They rather look at the side where you obtain trainings in entrepreneurial related skills like hair dressing, like barbing, like fashion designing, and all of those things. And all of those people have started also bringing up, taking up their own game too. But what is more important here is that even at the point of admission into tertiary institution, a good percentage, not less than about 70% of newly admitted students in tertiary institution got admission into department they never envisaged to be. So we got it wrong at that foundation. And to make the matter worse, you don't engage them. And I've also said this, and I am yet to see somebody to take me up, perhaps I'm wrong, is that you cannot just go to school and claim you have bachelor of science degree in entrepreneurship study. It's wrong. Every field of study must have its own entrepreneurial side, so that if I happen to be a trained teacher, the entrepreneurial side of education, like educational management and all of those things, data analysis and all of those things, should be built into this, so that if I choose not to practice, I should be able to do entrepreneurial program that carry. If I am a trained lawyer, there should be entrepreneurial side of law, that if I chose not to practice as a lawyer, I should be able to be doing some other things that will not be totally different to law. So these are the areas that we need to, and those interests, no institution seems to be interested in building the interest of the course of study of the students into them before graduation. So all of those things, they are multi-staged challenge that we are having, and at that point in time of graduation, you are telling such a person to look away from white collar job, then you are very wrong. And most of the people that encourages Nigerian youth to look away from white collar job, because of their privileged position, they reserved white collar slots for their own children. So what are you now telling me?
All right, thank you very much. So we'll continue. Let's take another topic. Federal government engages 30,000 graduates as agri extension workers. Do you think this is laudable, or how do you see that at this point in time that there is no job?
You see, this is a right step in supposed right direction at the wrong time.
Wow.
Why do I say so is this: I have been an advocate of even distribution of government projects and infrastructures, so as for us to further depopulate, decongest the urban areas. And when you see rural-urban drift, by implication, a thinking leader should see it as a challenge, because you will end up overstretching the facilities at the urban area.
Yes.
While you have better facility in the rural area and seriously or grossly being underutilized. And I have said that abuse is not only when you overuse, when you underutilize, it's also an abuse. So now, agric extension program cannot run in the urban area. It can only be in the rural area, because at the urban area, for example, you will have the intervention of the federal government, Federal Ministry of Agriculture. Though I have been a very strong advocate that federal government should not have business with agriculture, because you don't have land. Even the land the federal government occupy in Abuja, federal government is a tenant.
Wow.
So at what point will you then claim to have such right to run agric business when you have somebody who owns the land, that owns the infrastructure and supporting facility? Even when federal government want to engage in anything that relates to agriculture at the state level, federal government can still not do it all alone. You still have to go through the state Ministry of Agriculture. So what is the business of federal government in agriculture? That is just by the way. Now coming back to that point, rural area need extension service of agriculture. Okay. But in agriculture generally in Nigeria today, do we still have active farmers? No, what I mean is this. I am not really saying we don't have farmer. Okay. I am not saying we don't have passionate farmers. Okay. But because of the situation we find ourselves, how active are they now? Most of them have devised a means whereby they will only engage in the value chain of agriculture rather than going to farm because of the security situation. They rather want you, okay, whoever want to farm, go and farm. Wow. I will set up machines and equipment to process. It's not because that person who want to invest in the value chain is not really interested in going to farm to till the land, but his life is not safe. So if you are not safe engaging in a particular aspect of farming, so everybody now think of, in fact some even go to the extent of specializing in deployment of technology to farming or agriculture. And now who is going to farm? Who is going to go to the bush to farm? And everything will start from tilling the land, planting, harvesting before every other value chain will be added. So everybody run away from the basic, not because they are not interested. But we are talking about
the joblessness around. I don't know.
You see, agriculture till tomorrow, till eternity, will still be the largest employment of labor anywhere, everywhere in the world. So if you are not tilling the land, you engage in value addition side of it, it's still part of agriculture. Some people even engage in it without knowing. Some people say at a particular time of the year, palm oil is cheaper. So let me go get like 20 jerrycan, keep. When the price soar, then I will push it to the market. It's still part of the value addition channel of agriculture, but they will never tell you that they are farmer. They won't tell you that. They will tell you, I am a businessman. I am doing my business. But at that point in time, who will these 30,000 agriculture extension workers, who will they provide? Because the basis is that this extension worker strategic support to the farmer. Where are the farmer? Yeah, with all the presentation, where will this agricultural extension worker, where will they be operating from? Even what is the background of these agricultural extension workers? I can confirm to you that not all of them have their background in agriculture. Well,
at least it says they will be trained for 2 weeks and sent.
Why are they interested in training them? Why can't you pick those who actually study agricultural science or agricultural economics or agricultural extension or agricultural technology or agricultural engineering, graduates of these agricultural related, this just as the other, then you will spend lesser training them, and you are likely to get better results than picking somebody without background in agriculture, and you believe that without training that person will be able to
on a lighter mode. I have a friend back then in school, he studied agri-economics, but right now he's a movie producer.
But let me tell you something.
Sure he's even interested in agriculture.
You see, even in that movie production, you will still see a touch of that background in all he or she does. You will still see it. We have seen radio presenter with background in a particular aspect. If you study what do they call this thing? They used to call it PhD.
Okay, physical and health education.
Human kinetic.
Okay.
if you find yourself in the media world, most of them end up reporting for sports or specializing in sport. That's to tell you the background from where they are coming from. That is, even if you are a movie producer with a background in a particular, you will see, just take a look at if that person writes a movie. I'm talking about where he or she has a control.
Okay.
Not in featuring as an artist and they tell you what to do, and if that person should write, you will see the aspect from where, or the angle from where such a person will become. I think the federal government should come out and address insecurity, particularly as it relates to the rural area. Let there be reversal in rural-urban migration, so that, and let all these rural areas be properly supported with necessary infrastructure in terms of education, so that if I want to farm, I will not be at disadvantage of enrolling my child in a school of my choice. So if I should go to the rural area and I am bringing up a child, and because in the rural area there is no good school, so I will be forced to come back to the urban area to farm. If there is no good road, I will spend more on the vehicle, operational vehicle in the farm. If there is no security, I will have to spend more to secure all of those. And when I look at the cost of putting the security, the education, and the life of my children, I will have to say, oh, it's like this farming is not my calling. Let me go elsewhere. So those are the areas that by now, even with what we are saying in Ondo, in Oyo, and the rest of them, I think the thinking of the federal government should not. We have farmers, about 47 farmers were slaughtered on their farmland. So at somebody whom you think should provide strategic support to the farmer, we want to go to the farmer. A principal. So if their principal is afraid of going to the farm, where will the vice principal go? So that is the unfortunate situation. I think the issue of security should be addressed before I talk about agricultural extension. This thing. Even the recruitment process of this 30,000, because if you are talking about 30,000 extension worker to provide strategic support to the farmer, and you intend sending about 30 of them, or let's say 1,000 of them to Kwara State, how knowledgeable are they about the rural areas in Kwara State where they are expected to serve? And we have State Ministry of Agriculture with a department specific dedicated for agricultural extension programs. They be doing. Can you see that there is no synergy between the way the federal government think that could have helped them to reduce the cost of some of those things they do? We have existing structure in various states. Tell them to recruit while you also fund those things. But it shows where the interest of the federal government lies.
Thank you, our beautiful listeners. If you are still listening, we are on Workplace Radio, and we are on talking issues that deal with workers in Nigeria. How does it affect us? How does it affect the economy? Okay, let's take a short break, and when we return, we will discuss more issues before we call it a day. But before then, if you're listening, please share this video and tell one or two persons to watch this video live on Facebook. They can do that by downloading our mobile app on Google Play Store. Let's take a musical break. You're welcome back. You're welcome back from that musical break. Thank you for joining us on Talking Point. And I have been talking with Comrade Drill Afolayan. Comrade Drill, you're still welcome, and thank you for staying with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
All right, so let's move to the next thing. We are going to talk about Imo workers sack state NLC chairman. Wow, that's a big one. And the news goes thus: members of the Nigerian Labour Congress in the state sacked their chairman, Austin Chipalaku. The workers said they removed Chipalaku because his leadership failed to negotiate properly with state government over their welfare. The workers who sacked Austin at the state secretariat in Owerri immediately constituted a caretaker committee. They therefore proceeded to the government house to present the new NLC caretaker committee led by Ndubisi to the governor, Hope Uzodinma. Okay. This is a big one. You know, in Nigeria, so many workers are beginning to lose hope in the Nigerian Labour Congress. You're a comrade. What can you say about this?
You see, actually, I have not really been following, because when news breaks, there is an extent to which you can really say that you know everything about it, because on the issue of the NLC chairman, for him to have a seemingly unanimous removal, it appears he has a very big problem and situation in his hands. And secondly is that the reason for which such an action was taken is purely on welfare. And if workers could come up and say because of their welfare they lost confidence in their leader, I think it is right, because they voted him in. And the affiliates of NLC is about 42 union or thereabout. And the state executive council will include all the members, representative of all of these states, all of these affiliates union, and the entire member of the state administrative council too, which means therefore that they are probably speaking the mind of every one worker in Imo State. I think the steps in the right direction if there is no political undertone, because don't forget that the election that produced this the hosted chairman was conducted before this governor Hope Uzodinma emerged in Imo State. And in most cases, you see, we have also seen it in Kwara State. Most union they exist on the palm of the government structure. Most union, in fact, most NLC structure exist in the palm of their various union. Just as we are even see at the national level too, here in Nigeria, there is a limit to which members of union can vouch for the leadership of the, and this is worrisome, and is a growing trend of concern to anyone who has ever been part of what is happening or moving close to it, because when they place some things, you will think it is unionism, it is pure politics. And if the basis upon which is removed is on the basis of this poor negotiation in favor of their welfare, I think they have taken, or they must have taken, a very good decision, the decision that they think is good for them, and it's exclusively their right to do so.
One last question on this: what do you think other states NLC should learn from this? What do you think is any lesson for them to pick up?
You see, if he actually failed in negotiating welfare, it depends on who is benefiting from his failure. Because even in a failed system, you still see some people that benefit from the failed system. If the entire member of state executive council are benefiting from his failure, he is not likely to be pronounced removed.
Okay.
Perhaps not everyone is benefiting. And I can tell you sincerely, some state NLC structure has failed. But because the majority of the state executive council member are benefiting from it, they will see it as a failure. They will see it as part of our. Do you know? Till now in Kwara State, here we are yet to have minimum wage being ascended to. Even when the negotiation was still on, the state government took the 2021 bill to the House of Assembly, and he said it's been part of the minimum wage. And when I featured in one of the radio program here in the state at about that time, I was asked, don't you think this is a welcome development? I said, how welcome could this be a welcome? Because how does the state governor know how much the minimum wage we are must to? For him to have told Kwaras, you said it's part of the budget, and you are yet to agree. So what are you taking to them? And it's just like Odu of an armed robber who jumped over the fence thinking he's jumping out of his victim's house and landed in another person's house. So he will still have to make another effort to jump again. It's a Yoruba adage. So therefore, you may still have a lot of situation in your hand when the negotiation is yet to be completed, and you think you have all it takes for you to take care of it in the
Thank you very much,
budget of the coming year. Thank you for having me.
Let's quickly touch on this before we call it a day. The Western Southwest governors agreed to put a ban on night grazing. So now this one says headers registration begin. NGF Maitiala back Akeredolu's order. The Ondo State government on Monday said it had started registering herdsmen in the state with the aim of ejecting unregistered headers from the State Forest Reserve. The special advisor to the governor on security, Alhaji Jimodan Dojumo, described this in an interview with a correspondent in Akure, where the Maitiala Cattle Breeders Association and the Nigerian Governors Forum met. It was gathered that herdsmen had started leaving the Ondo State Forest Reserve in deference to the state government order, which was backed by Governors Forum and the Maitiala at their meeting on Monday. The NGF and the cattle breeders meeting was on 7-day ultimatum, which the governor Rotimi Akeredolu this week issued herdsmen to vacate the State Forest Reserve. And looking at this, do you think it's a good thing for him to, and can he pull through to ask herders to actually register?
He can definitely do. He has every right and every power to do that. That is why, despite the fact that the 6 of them came around yesterday, they can still not ask him to withdraw his decision, because the decision was well thought out.
But sir,
Ondo State had suffered a countless cases of attack on its citizen resident and indigene alike, and activity of all of these criminals have been traced to the forest. And I said in 21st century, and to be specific, in 2021, you still have people living in the bush. Who should live in the forest? It should be animal. Now, in the basic science, we were taught the principle of photosynthesis. The principle of photosynthesis has it that sunlight has impact or influence on how plant grows. And in the forest, the only thing, going by the principle of photosynthesis, the only thing that could be useful to the cattle should be water. Which means because the big trees wouldn't allow grasses to grow. So why do you choose to stay in the forest in the first instance? And longevity, I insist, is not legality. The fact that you have been staying there for a while doesn't mean that in the first instance nobody gave you the permit to occupy the forest. So what they're supposed to do is just go to the forest, take your cattle to take water, then you withdraw from the forest. Now the governor, and that was not even the only thing that the Akeredolu said there. He placed ban on night grazing, underage grazing, because we have a lot of out of school children that are of the tribe of Fulani that follow these cattle about. Why are they not in school? During President Jonathan administration, he built some schools in the north. They call it I've forgotten the name of the as in these people that move from he built school, so load the cattle, there will be a nearby school that you can still go to. So you go with the cattle with bush, so that you can also access schools as you move from one. And as soon as his administration ends, operation of those schools stops. Now, at that point in time, is it proper for us, with some of the reports that we have been getting from United Nations, number of out of school children is a growing it's supposed to be a growing concern to us in Nigeria. So why is that age grazing too? And that everybody is so particular. If I know he has the Fulanis to live. In fact, some people went in malicious move to say he has the Fulani to live in those states. He never said that, because all of the things he meant were actually tweeted. So he cannot just go there, remove. He tweeted and it's been archived by a number of people. So he never asked them to leave Ondo. Now yesterday that all the southwestern governors and two other governors from the north joined them. I am so happy that the decision he chose to take, that if you want to occupy, if you want to live in Ondo or in the forest, come and register. Let us. So if you are not a criminal, you shouldn't be afraid of any procedure that will bring peace to you and the community that hosts you.
So do you think that can be effective? How about the headers that are not resident that move?
So it will be easier for you to challenge whoever you see. Even the fact that you are registered doesn't exempt you from being sanctioned if you indulge in open grazing. But for them to say, okay, for example, let's say somebody with, let's say 20 or 10 cow, and government official or security agents arrest that person, you have to provide the evidence that you have registered with the state government. Because don't forget that each time you have others overrunning communities in the north, federal government will come to tell Nigerians that no, these others are not Nigerians. They will tell us they are Nigerians. So if they are Nigerians, let us add the records of the Nigerians that are trained in art keeping or the herdsmen, so that when we see anyone, for example, now everybody that drive vehicle is expected to have driver's license. But why is it that road safety will still stop you and still ask you of your driver's license? Just to be double sure you are expected to have been registered. Even if they stop you and they check your driver's license and everything is intact, they will say, "Okay, we are very sorry, please drive safely," and they pass you. So the fact that they have registered doesn't mean they can still not be checked over and over again to be sure whether he or she is registered in the business.
Well, for me, I think it's a good one, at least to help our data system, which we've not been able to put in place from the onset. I think it will help.
I think data collection or data building should also be done at the federating unit level too. Because when you see national population, they want to do census, they rely to some extent on area enumeration, demarcation, that is expected to have been done about a year or two before the national population, before the census is being done. Because during area enumeration demarcation, let's say a particular community has about 4,000, and during census you are bringing 10,000 from the same community, people will ask that question.
How?
Where are you bringing this from? The difference should be slight.
Yeah.
Very slight difference, either plus or minus. But when you are now having over 100% of what has been captured during earlier enumeration demarcation as the population, then that was what made Lagos State government to take the National Population Commission and federal government to court sometimes ago, when the figure of Lagos State to have been far below what obtains in Kano. And we all know what played out then. So these are some of the things that and there is a Yoruba adage that also says that an head of the family that doesn't know the number of his household will not be able to plan properly for them. So when you know the number of people you are responsible for, you'll be able to know how to manage the available resources and their peculiarity pattern.
Thank you very much, Comrade Joel Afolayan.
Thank you for having me.
Our time is far spent and we cannot discuss other topics today again. But I'm sure that our viewers out there have been able to enjoy our discussion this morning. If you have questions or you would like to send us a comment, you can do so. You can drop it on Facebook and we will address that. We would like you to send us a mail as well on workplaceradio2@gmail.com. You can send us a mail sending your observation and question and what have you. Or you can send us an SMS on 0809166666674. 0809166666674. 4674. All right, Comrade Joel, on a final note, what would you like to say to our viewers?